Hello and welcome to yet another episode of CSB Talkies. And today, once again, we have a guest from Canada with University of Niagara Falls. So from University of Niagara Falls, Canada, we have Mr. Sanjay here, who is here to enlighten some of the myths that we have about Canada. Hello, Sanjay.
Hi Gazala, how are you?
I'm doing great, thanks for asking. So what do you do at the University of Niagara Falls?
So at the University of Niagara Falls, I'm the Associate Director for International Business Development. I take care of international students who want to choose our university for their future education, whether it be a bachelor's or a master's degree. So if you want to sum it up, you could say I'm their guide into an unknown world with a lot of opportunity.
Sounds very convincing to me. Now with that, Sanjay, you are looking after the business development. So you also understand that at present, our problem is not with a particular school, but it's an overall destination. So why would you assess students are less interested to go to Canada? Do you think they are not liking Canada as much as they used to?
Okay, let's look at it this way. Now, anybody in the world, they like good news. They can accept bad news. But everyone dislikes confusing news. Can we agree on that?
Yeah. No, totally.
Yeah. So I think that early days, almost always good news for Canada, high visa approvals, everything was looking good, everyone was happy. During COVID, border shutdown, bad news. No one was happy, but everyone accepted that and decided, okay, this is a time to wait and figure out what I want to do, how to prepare my documentation, etc. for whenever Canada opens its borders.
Right.
After 2023, a little bit of confusing news, a lot of policy changes coming. Instead of a directive at one shot, a lot of changes repeatedly coming through. Whilst it is for a positive outlook on the future of education in Canada, it has brought quite a bit of uncertainty into the market. And I think that is a key reason why a lot of students feel disheartened to apply, because they're not sure where they're getting what kind of news, which is why it's important to come talk to the right people, such as yourselves. You guys know what exactly is going on. You're policy experts, you read the news, you go through the announcements from IRCC, you know the ins and outs of what the government is asking of a student, and they need to have that clarity in advice. So coming to experts such as yourselves, partners of the university, they would have much more direction and much less ambiguity that would help them progress in a much more straightforward fashion.
Okay, so what you're saying, Sanjay, is that the problem right now with students who are probably not deciding on Canada, the main point is they are confused. They don't like the uncertainty.
Yeah.
So we are requesting for any student, you want to know more about Canada, instead of asking your friends or someone has said this, let that someone be us, and let that person who actually tells you what the truth be us, because we're not going to hide any information from you for your betterment if we need to work with you. So whatever is there is right there. Canada is still by far actually one of the best destinations to go and study in terms of ROI, in terms of student friendliness and overall experience. I mean, how many people you've heard has gone to Canada to study and have returned? It's only because they love it there. So let's move it on a different note right now. Okay, I understand about the destination. So if it is even Canada, if someone say they pick up Canada at this point, we have to admit on one thing that I'm dealing with every day. Provincial attestation letter, the PAL issued ever since 2024. It is actually a way of limiting students. As in, Canada has a limit of how much they can take. Province has a limit of how much they can take. Schools have a limit of how much you guys can recruit. So if we made this limitation is what definitely says that we cannot have too many students. Is that what it is right now? Are we cutting down on students, in short?
I would say we should look at this more in the fashion of, are we getting higher quality of students into the right fields of education that actually satisfies the needs of the country. Let me take into a referential point here. 2024's Labour Ministry report. The Ministry report says that, of Canada of course, the Ministry report says that there are close to 2 million jobs that were left vacant in a lot of different skills. And out of these 2 million jobs, close to 700,000 jobs were in the field of healthcare and tech, which is predominantly the biggest influx of students going in to most foreign countries from Bangladesh. And what I've understood from this is that companies that are hiring students are not entirely satisfied with students who are spending less time on their education, such as, you go for a diploma course, which is 6 to 8 months or something like that. I don't think companies are enjoying the idea of recruiting these kind of students into their organization because they don't feel like they've spent enough time there, or they've understood the culture, or how work really works over there. So I think that the change has come to get the right quality students in abundance. So if you look, the number that they're saying is about 400,000 plus students who they want to allow into the country, or they want to bring into the country, into their education institutions. If we're looking only for bachelor's and master's degrees, this is quite an abundant number.
To be matter of fact, when I was a counselor, I do not think Canada recruited more than that. There were more, I guess, refusals, and during that time, not that many people even applied. So,
so exactly to refer your point, the government gets feedback from companies, both local and multinational, that are based out of Canada, and these guys have been giving feedback that the quality of students applying for white collar jobs need to be better, and that is one of the key reasons why we as a university work very close with industry, and also try to get the notion out to students that we have industry ready programs that will kind of direct them into the right kind of careers that they can look out for.
So in short, Sanjay, you're saying that the provincial attestation letter was not intended to limit down on students, but it was rather used for institutions who can provide the kind of education after completing which you're going to get the job.
Correct.
Rather than recruiting mass amount in a certain maybe college or an institution from where after graduation you cannot find a job.
That's right.
So they've started forming a guideline.
Yeah.
So as I hear, in the past only undergraduate, as in like bachelor, diploma, those students needed a PAL. Very recently master students need a PAL.
That's right.
And masters is a program where I guess half the Bangladesh was interested to go to Canada. Undergrad was still difficult for us to find students. But the PAL thing, the provincial attestation, it is creating a roadblock right now among master students as well. What message would you have for the master students?
Okay, so if you want to look at it in a way that this is creating a roadblock, what I would say is every country, every university around the world has different processes and procedures in place. Yes, I'm aware that we had something prior to 2025 starting out, and we have something new now, and it might change again, it might not, this might sustain, but where we're looking at it is that we're just adding a step to the process.
Okay.
So look at universities in the UK maybe. You need a offer letter, then you need a letter of acceptance there, then a CAST, and you apply for a visa. So there are technically 3 levels there as well.
Absolutely.
But you're okay with that because that's been the system for very many years now.
Yeah, true.
So we're just implementing a similar system for Canada, which will be something of a norm with due time. So right now it's a new system, but we're not trying to create roadblocks. We're in fact trying to make sure genuine students get better opportunities, and students who are trying to use shortcut methods and do any kind of unethical practices, they get caught out in this approach, because now only if the province releases the PAL to the university, the PAL can be sent to the student then uses the same PAL to apply for a visa. So it's one big perfect circle. So the government knows that this student is a genuine student, they've gone through the processes and procedures, and it's got nothing to do with roadblocks. It's more of an additional step of verification, which should provide a student with more confidence that, okay, now the government's involved in my application procedure, that's a good thing.
Sounds great. So would that not even mean that it will take a little longer for the whole process to take place because there's an added step?
Absolutely. I don't think university application should be a last minute decision. It is a very important decision in every child's life, every parent's life, and I would say that taking 6 months to a year to plan that journey is always important. But when you start that, you must know the process and procedures, which is why I keep recommending that it's important to come consult with experts such as yourselves who can advise that, hey, look, you start your application process, it's going to take 1 week to get an offer letter, and then you pay your deposit. To us, that's a $5,000 deposit. It's another week, you get an LOA. Then you have to submit a form that says I'm interested in the PAL, and that takes another 2 to 3 weeks. So doing all this without prior knowledge, you could get stuck anywhere or even feel like, oh, this process is too long. But if you're, say for example, exploring the October 2025 intake and you walk into the CSB office right now, you would be able to tell them that, hey, you are right on time, let's start your process now, so that by mid-May to late May, we'll have all the processes and procedures complete and you can then file your visa.
So you're saying that right now for every student, the key is to, however, I guess in the past as well, Canada takes a little longer immigration wise. So I would always say have enough time in your hand when you apply for Canada, whichever is your intended intake. 6 months prior to that, you should definitely already have submitted the application, initial one, to the university.
That's correct.
Tell us a bit about UNF in general. So what are the intakes and what programs do you offer?
Before we jump into that, quick time for a story?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, sure. So, there's always been this little bit of a debate out there, like, should I choose a public university or a private university and things like that. And UNF is a private university.
Okay.
And it was built on industry needs. Many years ago, the mayor of Niagara Falls City decided that because Niagara Falls is the number one tourist destination in Canada, having more than 25 million people come and go through the year, it shouldn't rely on just the one industry.
Tourism.
So the first thing that he wanted to do was bring or incentivize other industries to start coming and setting up their bases there. So we had companies like Innovation Hub Niagara and Niagara Health and several others, multinational organizations with sub-regional offices moving to Niagara Falls City and setting up their base so that it would be more vibrant from an industry point of view as well. And the second step to that was, students from other parts of Canada slowly started to recognize Niagara Falls City as an option to go and live and work in, because real estate is cheap. It's quite close to Toronto. It's only an hour and a half away by bus or train. And it's also quite economical to live in. Real estate prices, as I said, are low. Now, the next thing the mayor did was, okay, we've got students from other parts of the country coming in here. Why can't we have our own university that would generate students to go work in the industry that we're developing here?
Oh wow! So it was, even though it's not a public university, but it's more like a public figure funded university.
Yeah, the idea was brought to several private investors with this big public personality in the heart of the frame. So I think that whilst the branding of the university, people say it's private, in our heart there's no difference. We work for the students' benefit, and in fact there's much less red tape around setting up curriculums, organizing opportunities for students, whether it's co-op programs, internships, everything. There's a lot. It's a lot easier for us to do these things, and in fact, even though we're a brand new university and we're Canada's youngest university, and our first batch of students would probably graduate in the next 6 months, we've already got MOUs signed with several companies, both international as well as national level organizations.
Wow.
They're going to be, taking our students for internship and co-op programs. And also, if the kids do well during that, maybe even offer them a pre-placement offer saying that, hey, we like you, just finish your degree, pass and everything, and come work with us. And we like to put our money where our mouth is. We even give the students applying for courses like Masters of Data Analytics a letter along with their LOA saying confirmation of employment, which means that even before you apply for your visa as a student, you know that the university is promising you an opportunity.
Wow, that is amazing. So students can actually go from here with an offer letter that says that they have an on-campus job?
As in, for the course Masters of Data Analytics at this point in time.
Wonderful. Yeah. And if not that, to be honest, just what you touched, Sanjay, though a lot of students pick this topic, private or public, personally, I have sent a lot of students to public universities. They didn't like the location.
Yep.
They wanted to go to that university. Now they say that they think the city is empty. There's no one. They don't want to be there.
Can you blame them though?
No, I mean, I'm not in their shoes, so I can't. So, and also vice versa. I have also come across students, I mean, before going to abroad, they don't know other names. They only know New York, they only know Toronto, they only know London.
Yep.
But once they're there, they sometimes call and they have this kind of blaming attitude that you could have sent me to an affordable place right next to the city where I am right now, but you chose to send me to a city where living expense is really, really high.
Correct.
But what you're saying it at the, if someone goes to UNF, then they can have affordable lifestyle.
Absolutely.
Do you guys have a student boarding?
Yeah, we do. We have accommodation that is reserved for university students only. We're a building fully leased out for that, and it's as cheap as $670 a month.
Great. I don't think that's how much I lived even 10 years ago when I was an undergrad student. I think I'd spent almost more than that. So once again, let us touch on what intakes and what courses right now we can offer. How many programs and what?
Absolutely. So we offer a range of programs in our bachelor's and master's level. At the bachelor's level, we offer 2 programs. We offer a bachelor's of business administration honors, and we offer a bachelor's of biomedical science honors, both 4-year degrees. And at our master's level, we've got a master's of data analytics, a master's of management, and a master's of digital media and global communication. So we've got 5 degrees totally, and we don't do anything else. We only do bachelor's and masters, which kind of coincidentally ties up with what the Canadian government also wants. They want students to come to bachelor's or master's.
I mean, your biomedical one, that sounds bingo. I mean, I wish I had that opportunity years back. The requirements are usually very high for biomedical sciences if someone even wants to study that. And coming to the master's program, we're talking about data analytics, but typical thing, everyone is right now looking forward to it. Digital marketing, I guess we all need a little bit of digital marketing. That's what we are doing right now. Digital marketing is mandatory to convey the right message. And last but not the least, Masters of Management. What I love about the program Masters of Management in general is that everyone from any field can actually study this and benefit from it. I think at every level you need a degree in management to understand the science of management.
Yeah.
So those 5 courses, 3 masters, 2 bachelors, bingo. I really love it. What are we looking at in terms of requirement? Undergrad, basic.
A student who is finishing their schooling, they need to be about 70%. That's what we're looking
Fair
at
enough.
to get into the course. And if they've got more than 90%, we've got some amazing scholarships that kick in. So if I would translate that into HSC terms, basically a student who gets 515 for the Bachelor's of Business Administration, the total fee structure is $80,000 for 4 years, and they can get, if they get a 515, $24,000 off that, which is like 35% of the total fees off.
Yeah.
And here's the big one.
That will make this the most affordable university at least in Canada, in all of Ontario, I guess.
Absolutely.
200 baht.
And for our Bachelor's of Biomedical Science, the 4-year fee is $120,000. And if a student gets a 515 in their HSC, we're going to give them a $50,000 scholarship.
Whoa, bingo.
Yeah, that's almost 50%.
So all those smart students of science, you want to study Bachelor of Biomedical, very good subject, you have up to 50% discount on total education. Your education is going to become even, I guess, more affordable than if you went to a college in Canada. So definitely aim for that. What do we have for the master's students?
So for master's students, we've got scholarships that go up to $11,000 on the total tuition fee. So again, ranges in the 25%.
That's huge. In Canada, course-based masters, no one gets a scholarship.
Yeah.
This is music to my ears. So who gets what kind of scholarship?
So a student with an academic merit of more than 3.5 would get the highest scholarship, which is the $10,000 to $11,000. Someone with 3.2 and above would get the mid-range scholarship, which would be about $5,000 to $7,000, and someone who got a 3 or above would get about $2,000 to $3,000. So something for everyone.
That sounds brilliant. So right now what we are seeing is, for me, it is very rare that at the master's level, course-based masters, we're getting scholarship in Canada. I think students, please come and definitely talk to us. And there is no application fee for University of Niagara Falls, Canada. So if you guys come to see as we study abroad, you would not even need an application fee. They have given us a waiver, so we would be more than happy to submit in your applications. And coming to the last part that Bangladeshis dread a lot, let's talk about the English proficiency.
Right.
What is the requirement that is needed?
Well, it's really hard. It's an MOI from your university.
Wow, bingo. So right now students can also submit master's application with a medium of instruction. Apart from that, for anyone who already have an IELTS, you have a very typical IELTS score that we require. We don't require you to have 7 or 7.5.
Yep.
It is simple. We just require overall 6.5.
That's right.
And with 6 in each band.
Perfect.
So that is how much, if you have and you want to really go to Canada by this year, actually this is a very good year to go to Canada. No kidding. Speaking from experience, this is a really good year to go to Canada. The PALs are in abundance. You just have to respect the time frame. The time is very case sensitive, no matter where you apply in Canada, and it always has been. It's not just because of the PAL. Your first application submission brings a conditional offer letter. We meet the condition, whether it is we're making the tuition fee deposit or whether we are lacking in any of the document that the university is going to request for. But then, after we get even the final LOA, these days, we need a PAL.
Yep.
So the province has to have enough time to give you the provincial attestation letter, with which we will be more than happy to submit the visa. So what is the tuition fee deposit students need to make?
Only $5,000.
Only 5,000 Canadian dollars, how much you need to make. And definitely you've heard from Sanjay himself, the sales director for business development, that you are in the right hands if you actually choose University of Niagara Falls, Canada. So come to CSB, talk to us, and we'll be more than happy to guide you to the right path. Thanks a lot for your time, Sanjay. And that's a lot of enlightenment for the students. Looking forward to all of you in recruitment. 2025 October is your next intake. But then for every student, 2026 January is still accepting students. Stay well. Bye-bye.
See you.